This is John Basti with ASC Industrial Air, and I'm doing this video, we entitled this video, How to Turbocharge Your MistBuster. And what I want to show is a variety of problems that you might have and how we can solve those problems for you. What I have as a demonstration is a MistBuster 850, and I'm going to turn it on to show you that when the unit is on, the indicator light should be solid. That would indicate that the unit is functioning, and you can hear the fan moving, blowing the air out the top. What you might find in a factory setting is that the indicator lights are solid, but you're still getting smoke coming up the top. That is going to tell you that the cells are being overloaded. So there's a few extra filters that you can add to improve the efficiency of the unit. The first filter sits on the top, and it's called an aeolus filter. And what it does is it comes with two clamps and the filter, and you put the clamps on the side and you put the filter on the top. This filter works at about an 85% efficiency. So if you're getting any blow through, this might solve the problem, and it's not a HEPA filter, so it's much cheaper, and it's designed for wet particulate, so any of the wet mist coming through won't clog the fins of the filter. That's your first option, and this could be bought online. The second option that you might have is, again, you have smoke coming out of the top and you have both indicator lights on. So you know your power packs are working, you know your cells are charged. The other things you could do is you can open up the unit and you can add a Dacron pre-filter. And what the Dacron pre-filter will do is it'll just help knock down heavy particulate prior to it getting to the electrostatic cells. And as you can see, the pre-filters on these units are pretty porous. They're not efficient. They're just designed to keep the heavy chips down from getting into the electrostatic cells. But you could put a Dacron filter, which is the same dimensions as this, just thinner. And what you do is you can put it in the first stage or the second stage, and then you'll put the filters back in and compress the Dacron filter down. And that'll help improve the efficiency as well. One more thing you can do to improve the efficiency a little more is you can replace the porous filter, which really is a second stage filter. It's really, your heavy particulate is going to get now knocked down in these first stages. You can improve the efficiency of this by putting in a baffle, and what that does is it just helps the oil stick more to the baffles prior to getting to the cells, and that'll improve the efficiency as well. So you have three options. You could use a baffle, you can use the Dacron filter, and you can use the aeolus filter. There's one more option that some people choose to use, and that is, it's a thin carbon filter. And you could put a carbon filter or two in lieu of the second mesh filter. And that will also help reduce any blow through, and it'll also help any odor issues that you might have. Those are your three options to turbocharge MistBuster 850 or 500 or 2000. Really doesn't matter in the size of the unit because all the electrostatic cells are the same size and fit. There is another tool that we have in our tool chest, if you will, to solve MistBuster problems, arcing problems, or even getting the blow through. And that's what I want to talk about in the second part of this video. If you have a solid indicator light and you want to turbocharge the unit, then you can use these options. But if your indicator lights are off, then either A, you're going to have to replace the power pack, or B, you have a problem with a cell. Maybe the cell is faulty, or maybe the cell fins are bent. You got to determine that. So in order to control these variables, the first thing I would do, and this is a situation where your indicator lights are not working. The first thing you need to do is take out the collection cells, just the electrostatic cells. completely from the machine, and then close the door, and then turn the machine back on. If the power pack indicator lights go on solid, and I'll use this as a demonstration, I'll close the door here to bypass the safety switch. But once I close the door with no cells, the unit will go on, and the doors, the power pack indicator lights will be solid. That's telling me that my power pack is good because my lights are charged, but when I put the cells in, it doesn't work. Most likely I have a problem within the cell. When you look at the collection cell, the first thing you got to determine is, A, does it need to be cleaned? If it looks like this, the answer is no, this is a brand new cell. But if it's dirty and you're going to see oil built up between the fins, eventually that oil will start to ground out the cell. There'll be a connection, an electrical connection between the two charged plates, and the cell will become, it won't work anymore. It needs to be cleaned. Otherwise, you might have a damage to some of the fins. If any of these fins touch each other, the cell will also ground out. So theoretically, you can have a clean cell that's damaged that won't work, or a good cell that's just dirty and it won't work. So you have to determine early on which is which. It's pretty easy to see when the cells are really dirty. There's other videos we have of the cell exchange videos, and also detergent for a Hood Wash 2000 if you're going to, Cell Soak 2000 if you're going to wash the cells yourself. If there's a damaged cell, we also have another tool, and we call this Fonzie arc block. And what it is it's a comb, and it will slide into and help stabilize any fins that are bent. So the device, the comb, if you will slide into the cell. So if you see you have an arc in a section because you have fins bent, you could slide the Fonzie arc block device into here, and it will support each of the fins. So if there are damaged fins, they'll straighten them out. And we sell these also in packs of 10, so that could help. The last thing I want to mention with regards to the MistBuster brand is I run into accounts where the motor's working, so it's got air shooting out, but the unit's in really bad shape. The power pack, the indicator lights aren't on. When you take the cells out, the indicator lights still don't go on, so I know most likely we have a bad power pack. But then when I look at the conditions of the cells, they're in horrible shape too. They can't be fixed. They really can't be cleaned. They're just really been neglected and are to a point where you either got to get another unit or. And that or is this. You can replace the electrostatic cell with just a mesh filter. I'm sorry, not a mesh filter, it's an Aeolus media filter. And what it will do is, if you take out the electrostatic cells, you can put this media filter in place of the electrostatic cell. And you will also, in addition to your other mesh filters, get some filtration. The air cleaner won't work at an efficiency of in the 90s, but it'll maybe work in the high 70s or the low 80s. So if you're getting no air filtration and you want to get something, this is an improvement. Eventually, maybe you want to replace the cells and the power packs and get the electrostatic unit to function as an electrostatic unit. But maybe not. Maybe you don't feel it's worth investing the money in those parts. And that's not a bad decision. And you use the media filters as a bridge over until you get another electrostatic unit. Keep in mind it won't work with the same efficiency. And if you have a bunch of units in your factory and you do change these over, you will see not as good air filtration as if you had electrostatic. But it could bridge the gap and get you through. So I hope this video is beneficial, and all these parts are available online. Again, if you have any questions, please give ASC a call. Thanks again.